All right, guys, we are back. Welcome to the Ready, Set, Blow podcast, episode 327. Orion Levine.
327.
I was just saying this because I recorded one early this morning with Liz Glazer.
That was 326.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz Glazer.
I've been running this about as long as I've been doing comedy, which is kind of, I started this like 6 weeks after,
nice,
8 weeks
dude.
after.
Cool.
Congrats. It's my longest relationship.
Ready, Set, Blow. And you were saying people think...
Well, they either think it's about cocaine or sucking cock.
Right.
And it's really just me losing my temper. is what the genesis of that name.
You do look like an Olympic cocaine user, I think.
What about me makes me look like a cocaine user?
It's not the look, it's the vibe.
The vibe? Okay. All right, fair enough.
No, I mean, do you feel that though?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was in finance for 11 years before this.
Yes, that's where cocaine thrives.
I have a cop's face, so I look like one of the party boys, the white party boy thing.
Yeah, I love it though. You're so. I feel like we're so different in a lot. Like you're very intense, and I'm very scared. So.
Really? Yeah, I mean, you're definitely more laid back than I am. I think the tone of my voice does a lot more heavy lifting than,
I love it, though.
Than anything else. 'Cause, I mean, if you ever hang out with me, I'm pretty laid back unless there's a reason not to be.
Yeah.
But I do have a hair trigger temper.
You do.
Certain things. It's
I've
weird,
never seen that side of it.
Big things in life, like if if I got into a car accident, I could handle that well.
Yeah.
But if the self checkout's giving me trouble at CVS, I'm gonna break the fucking screen. It's a real weird thing.
So you're level-headed in a car accident?
Yeah, I'm level-headed in a crisis, and when there's a perceived small slight, I lose my fucking mind.
Have you been in a car accident?
Not a major one. Some fender benders.
Was it your fault?
No. Well, I mean, one time I crashed in my own garage.
Yeah.
But that was because the garage door was closing on me. I tried to avoid it.
I crashed I did an accident.
Uh-oh.
It was my bad.
What'd you do? Were you a little Dewey? What do we have here?
No Dewey. I just hit a guy. I merged and I hit a dude, and it was totally my fault. I'll go on the record and say that right now.
Did you run away so you don't have to pay the insurance?
No, I said sorry. You're not supposed to say sorry. I immediately said sorry.
Why aren't you supposed to say sorry?
Because you don't want to admit guilt, basically.
But it
was my fault.
I know, but unless he's recording it, there's no way to.
True.
Know?
And even then, I could be like, "Sorry, what were you saying?"
A little trick.
But I hit him.
How bad was the damage?
It wasn't that bad, but my insurance went up $85 a month. I had that joke about it too. I think you heard it. Where I go, where it sucks for me, but it's straight up insulting to the man I killed.
Yeah, that's a great bit.
Thank you. Yeah, comics really like it, and then crowds, it's a little too much.
A little groan.
Yes,
I like those jokes. So I like to get them to groan into a laugh.
Totally. Well, yeah,
I have quite a few of those in my act.
Yes, and I think you really appreciate a joke no matter what the content. And
well, you gave me shit about laughing the other night because you came down and did Molly's.
Yeah, I said
I laugh I mean, one, if it's funny, but two, if the crowd if you don't get the reaction,
right?
I'm laughing that's a great, the uncomfortable laugh kind of thing.
Yes, and to set the scene, we were also doing a show during the Dodgers playoffs.
Oh my god, the Dodgers Padres, which it's sort of the Yankees Red Sox West Coast.
Yeah,
and no one was. I mean, there was two foreigners. Both of them. One of them was a Spaniard. The other one was from Italy.
Yes,
and it
was a pretty hilarious situation.
And they stuck through it. They stuck through the whole ham.
Yes, totally.
The wet ham situation.
Yeah, but you were being a very supportive host, and I think there is something to be said that a joke where comics laugh really hard. Sometimes if a joke does really well at an open mic, I'm like, that's probably for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the other thing too. I feel like you started, we all started open mics. If you stay just doing open mics, you'll start writing jokes that are comic pleasers, which just do not translate for the crowd.
Open
mic
we
like
jokes.
The worst thing you could say is usually the thing we'll laugh at the hardest.
Yes,
and a lot of times that's not what the crowd wants.
Yes, totally. I mean, God, I feel bad for audience members that stumble their way into open mics and they get upset, and I'm like, listen, this is the place where the horrible things are said. It's said here, so it doesn't.
So it never makes it out of these four walls.
Yes.
Now, you started in the Bay Area, right?
I started in the Bay Area, yes. I wore my SF hat for that reason.
There you go.
I was like, I need to represent.
So do they have bar shows up? I know they have bar shows, but is it because in Boston they had the bar shows, and a lot of times they won't even tell the people that are in it that there's the patrons that are there.
Oh, yeah, an ambush situation?
Yeah, it's like an ambush comedy show pops up. You ever do any of those?
I've ambushed plenty of people in my time, for for sure. Yeah, there's nothing worse than like upsetting people with your art who just don't want to be there.
Dude, there was a show. It was at the Tavern at the End of the World, and they had like a kitchen, like a dining area, and that's where they'd have the comedy show. And they'd start at 7 o'clock, and there'd be people eating dinner.
Yeah,
and they would just break into a comedy show. And dude, there was times when there's like 8 and a 10-year-old kid, and I'm like, and I had 5 minutes, and it was all of it was dirty. I had no, there was like, well, I guess I got to do that 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and just talking about fisting my sister in front of a 10-year-old.
Oh God, yeah, horrible. I would produce a show at this brewery in the Bay Area, and our crowd would always be taken by surprise. And then there was a lot of regulars there, though, and there'd be kids every single week. There'd be these pair of kids, and because their parents would always go to the brewery, and they just kind of run around, but they wouldn't pay attention to the comedy. Like I'd done comedy in there enough to know that they're not listening, but every week it was just like so unsettling for the crowd that there was a kid hearing those.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. It's at a brewery. I have a fucking major. Here we go. I'm gonna get on my soapbox right now. I have a major fucking problem with parents bringing their kid to the bar.
Yeah, for some reason, because there's food there, or it's just beer. I don't know what it is about a brewery, but it seems like the normal bar rules don't apply. Dogs, kids.
There's adult etiquette, I feel like. Because I'll give you a great example. Like I'll be at a bar, sports bar, you know, watching a game and, Monday Night Football or whatever. And there'll be a family with 2 kids or there, I'm cursing at the TV like, oh, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, get that fucking kid, that baby out of the bar. Go home with those kids or get a sitter. All right, this is the adult playground. I don't go down to your fucking kid's school playground looking for cocaine. You're looking for morality at a goddamn sports bar. You're in the wrong spot, honey.
Yeah, I'd love to bring
that shitty kid home.
I'd love to just bring kids to your comedy shows. That would be hilarious. And
I would do one if the parents knew my material and they were okay with it.
Hell yeah!
See, when I was a kid, my mom let me watch all this shit. She didn't. I mean, the first comedy special I ever saw was George Carlin's Jamming in New York in 1992.
Oh, that's awesome!
And she let me watch it and didn't say a word about it. But whereas I have like a bunch of other friends whose parents wouldn't let them like watch Ren and Stimpy because it was too risque.
Totally.
It's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I think my parents are the same way in terms of not caring about this shit that I saw. But I feel like just growing up with the internet, like there's no controlling what your kid
so how old are you?
sees.
You're
I'm 28.
Right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You got the whole fucking world in front of you.
I always had the internet at my disposal.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And are your parents like, are you from the Bay Area?
Yeah.
Okay. Are your parents like hippies, or are they
kind of not
VC people? Like what?
Wait, what is VC?
Venture capital.
Oh no, they're more.
What is VC?
They're
more. You lived in San Francisco all this time. You didn't know what the fuck those numbers were.
They're more. They're both in the medical field.
Okay. So you're a huge disappointment.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, none of their kids really went that way.
How many they got? How many?
I have 2 siblings.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that they're both artists, so they're stoked that like I'm doing.
Oh, your parents are
creative things. Yeah.
They're medical artists. What are they?
It's hard to say my dad's an artist necessarily, but he wanted to be an actor. So yeah, he wanted to be in show business, and I have kind of a show busy family, so it's like.
But I thought they were in the medical field.
My parents are, but I have cousins who are musicians and actors and stuff. So I think there's some respect for that thing. So they're not like bummed.
You're Jewish, I assume. So
so they're bummed I'm not making money, but they're not bummed that it's
they know
art.
It's coming. They know it's on its way.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
Good. How long you been at it, man?
Stand up?
Yeah.
It'll be 5 years in November.
Wow, super funny. Fucking got JFL. It's like the biggest honor you can get without getting a fucking Netflix deal.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that. It's coming out soon.
How'd that come about?
It came about actually from Big Pine, where we both just were.
Nice.
I got to shout out Hillary Hudson at Big Pine.
Sweetheart. Thank you, Hillary.
Yes. For running a great festival. And Casey. Let's not forget
Mic Drop
Casey.
Comedy, fantastic venue.
Yes, I thank Hillary first because she did originally book me for the festival, but Casey is dope as well. And I did the festival, and the booker for JFL happened to be there, and I was lucky enough to get up in front of her.
Sick.
And yeah, she put me in the unrepped category. So yeah, it was great. It was amazing. It was the best thing that has happened to me for sure.
So how long are you like up in Montreal for this festival? Like, is it like a whole thing? Because I imagine it's got to be way bigger and way more involved than.
Right. You go. So, man, yeah, she kind of put me through the ringer a little bit. It's under new management. Jeff Singer got canceled, I suppose, and then so
yeah, I heard about that.
The new booker. I don't know how
I think Howie. What's his name?
Howie
Mandel bought it, right?
Maybe.
I heard. I think he said he bought that.
I'm not sure.
I mean, he's got enough. He's got more money than God. I'm sure he can afford it.
Shout out Howie. But so that's the new booker, Allison Cohn, also sweetheart. She did a really funny thing, and I think I gave her a little bit of a hard time for it. She emailed me a week before she accepted me into it. She goes, hey, just a heads up, like, we're considering you for it. So has your schedule changed or anything? And I was like, no, my schedule is
and
not
if it has,
changed.
it will fucking be open.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever's on my schedule will immediately get fucking canceled.
Exactly. So she sent me through like a week of like being pretty stressed out about it, and I lost.
Well, that kind of email means it's coming your way.
Yes.
She's asking about your schedule.
In hindsight, yes, but in the moment, because it wasn't 100%, I just got a taste of it. I wasn't even.
Oh yeah, because you weren't even thinking about it until if the email came in and she said you're in, it's like hey, but it's like hey, we're thinking about it. It's like oh, now I have something to lose.
Totally,
I might not get something I never thought I'd get anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Not only that, I thought they'd already accepted the people. So I got this email, and then so I spent a week just like an anxious like, am I gonna get it mode? And I lost my phone. I got in that car accident in that.
What a week, dude!
I was really stressed out during that week. So, but then I got it, and yeah. And I love Allison, and I love JFL.
What's the event like itself? Like, how long are you up there for?
It's pretty much a long, but aside from the comedy aspect, it feels like a little bit of a party. Like there's a lot of like late nights and not sleeping. One of the few pieces of advice I'd gotten before I got there was just like, you can sleep when you get home. Like don't be the guy who wasn't there for the thing. Yeah. Exactly. Do all the things. But that means like going to sleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning and then like getting up for stuff before noon.
Panels and all this.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that and little networking things. But it felt, and it's very stressful too because you're doing these really important shows and like there's much industry there, but the industry is just like, I feel like it can't be that. It must be kind of stressful for them too, and then it's also just like I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to just have a good time. Yeah. So it's like there is definitely a lot of partying and staying up late. It was a blast.
See, that's where I shine. I can't wait. I need to get Allison to see me and give me a fucking a shake.
And the shows were amazing. We did a huge theater show and a fun black box theater show after that.
African American box.
Come on, and it's 2022. And yeah, it was fun. It was a great time.
Did you get anything out of that? You get representation now? Is that title gone?
I do have a manager. Yes.
Fancy.
Yes. So.
Is that what made you move down here? You were like, all right, enough of this. San Francisco
no,
bullshit.
I moved before that all happened. So I was.
Oh no shit! I thought you came down because you've only been here for a few months.
Yeah,
right?
it happened kind of at the same time. But yeah, I needed to get out of San Francisco for sure.
Okay. What, you don't like the people up there?
I love the people. I just had enough. Yeah. Okay. I had enough.
Did you go to college up there or just?
I went to SF State. Yeah.
Oh, so you were up there the whole time. Huh?
And I went to City College in Santa Barbara before that too. That was my dirtbag era.
City College. I mean, Santa Barbara is got to be the most beautiful place on earth, and I imagine the women at Santa Barbara City College. You know, because it's always it's always like the less prestigious the school, the hotter the chicks. I think.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like the girls at Florida State are a lot hotter than girls at Harvard.
Is that because?
And like I imagine City College in San Luis Obispo is full of hot chicks or whatever.
Right. Why is that? Because they like to party more.
Probably. Yeah. You know, I think that has something to do with it. And also, like, I mean, think about it. If you're a super hot chick, who gives a shit if you're smart?
Interesting.
You know, like, you don't have to be funny, smart. I mean, you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the order of being born with the best luck is like hot chick, rich dude, everybody else. I mean, like in terms of having your life kind of laid out pretty nice for you.
Interesting, yeah.
Because hot chicks, they get all the stuff and they don't have to have any of the money.
Right.
Rich guys get all the stuff, but they have to have the money. The rest of us don't get shit and don't have shit.
If you're a rich, hot guy, that's good too, right?
That's the best you can do as a guy. That's the best you can do as a guy. But just a hot chick is enough.
Interesting.
I mean, think about it, dude. Women, like I've said this on the podcast before. Women will date a guy only if he has something going for him. He has to be attractive and funny, or have a good job, money, this, that. A guy will date an absolute fucking loser as long as she's hot. She could work at a Hollywood video store, even if they still exist. And if she's a 10, you know, a dude with some success and wealth and good looks will date her. Like we don't need anything extra. Just be hot. It's like the number one thing for guys. I feel like in general.
Could she work at a Blockbuster?
I mean, that's extra points, dude. If she has a Blockbuster, there's only one left. Right? I think it's in Alaska or some shit.
Yeah, shout out. There's some hot chicks working there too.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Did Blockbuster ever do the porn rentals? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't remember. The old swinging Western doors.
Yeah, I've never.
I guess you're too young to even remember that.
That was before my time. I was never.
Yeah, Netflix was already out by the time you were in high school.
I was never at porn watching age before.
Oh, you had just straight in your hand, hardcore XXX porn on your phone.
Yeah.
By the time you hit puberty, you had the fucking golden goose.
I've never been in an establishment to watch porn.
You watch it outside.
Did you ever do that? Did you go to a porn watching place?
I've never been to a porn theater, but at the video store, we used to sneak back to the porn section and see what the
just
titles
to look
were.
at the covers and stuff.
Yeah, see what was going on because the names were always funny and there was always naked tits on them.
And what about a porn theater?
Never been to a porn theater. I feel like even at the time that seemed gross. Like dark lighting and it's just like a jerk off film playing. Like everyone's in there like rubbing one out. Like so, how do you pick a seat? Like even that alone would skeeze me out. So I never did a porn theater.
Yeah, but it's interesting because now you can just go to a theater. It's not okay to like jerk off in a theater, but I think you can kind of get away with having sex. I think that's a little more acceptable.
Have you had sex in a movie theater?
No, but I've seen some pretty.
You film people have sex in a movie theater?
I would I feel like I've been in a movie theater and I've seen people very horned up and going at it. And it's not. It was not nearly as upsetting if I had just seen one dude jerking off in the corner. You know what
really?
I mean?
Yeah, it's a little gross.
I'm not going to complain.
Watching two dudes jerk each other off is a lot better than watching.
Yeah, one of them is like, oh, they're in love, maybe. And the other one is like, this guy really loves Jaws. I don't know why I picked Jaws. That's too old of a film reference. I think there's a new one out.
Oh, they're making a new Jaws
3D, maybe. I don't know.
God,
I don't know.
I've dropped a digit on a girl in a movie theater, and I may have gotten a handy. But it's been so long since I've been to a movie, and also
when you say
I'm 39, dude. So like, if I want to go have sex, I go home, or her house. Like, there's usually a place to go. It's kind of shit you do in high school when you can't fuck in your own house because your parents are home.
Yeah.
You go to the movies and fool around with each other.
Yeah. I feel like I just don't have like a cool enough house. That's my problem.
Now, or like when you were living with your folks?
Yeah, now I don't have an sexually impressive house.
Doesn't matter, man. You're a young comedian. The fucking girls you're banging don't know shit from Shinola.
Yeah, but I want them to come and see a nice coffee table and a headboard and stuff like that.
You just got an air mattress on the floor.
You know your room's not good when you give a disclaimer before you get there. You're like, it's not that nice.
Yeah, well, that's why you got to angle to go to their place. Yes. And I'll tell you right now, man, girls give you shit about your apartment. Go to a girl's apartment. It's always a fucking mess.
Yeah.
I've never been to a girl's the bathroom in a woman's apartment that wasn't absolutely destroyed. Just hair and eyelashes everywhere.
Right.
Also, they have more paint. They have more fucking brushes for their face than Van Gogh has to paint. I mean, like it's
I've seen a little bit of that. My lady's apartment is very nice, so maybe that's where my self-consciousness comes from.
Okay. She live down here?
She lives in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's doing a little long distance thing.
Yeah, but she's got a great spot. Nice carpet situation. Nice TV on the.
Does she have like a real straight job?
She's a grad student.
Okay.
Yeah, so she will one day. I'm banking on that.
Yeah, that's your retirement plan?
Yeah, pretty much. And we'll see. She's very smart. She's very smart and horrifically ugly. So it's like totally against what you were saying earlier.
I won't cut this clip so she won't see it.
No, she's very beautiful and smart.
How long you been with her?
I've known her for a long time, but we just recently started dating more seriously.
Oh, was it like a casual thing, or were you guys just friends until recently?
It was always kind of a casual on and off thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and now we're here.
All right. And how long were you dating before you left?
That's a good question. We've always been kind of on and off, but then I think after I left, things got more serious when we would see each other and we'd go back.
The old absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes,
situation.
I think so.
And do you get up there enough to see her, or is she bitching and moaning?
Yeah, we make it work for sure.
Okay.
We make it work. I go there because there's a good stage time and it's a good excuse to go and see her for sure.
Yeah. Since I started comedy, I've actually been a huge fan of the long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it sets the precedent that you're not going to be coming to hang out every night. Like if you live in the same city, right? We go out at night to do our fucking thing. So if your girl works a straight 9 to 5, she gets off 5, she's home at 6. You're walking out the door, and she's like, "Where the fuck are you going?"
Yeah, totally.
We're gonna be out till 2 doing whatever we got to do.
Totally, and I tend to not want to date when I'm really focused on comedy. So like, I mean, a lot of like a girl trying to hang out like on a Friday or a Saturday night.
You'd rather be doing gigs.
It's a little unrealistic for me for sure. So
yeah, and then when you do go hang out, you make the time. Like you're. Like, whenever you go see your girl, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going up to San Francisco. I'm going to fucking hang out with her all day.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not shortchanging it. So they feel loved when you're there.
Yeah, and she'll visit me in L.A., and comedy is hard enough out here where it's like we can hang out at night sometimes, too, because it's not... In SF, I feel like I'd be booked every night. But here, it's just...
Well, your day will come. You'll be booked here every night soon.
Yeah, this is my booking for today, baby. I got some jokes to run. I'll do them. Randy's a good audience member.
You're going to run some material? Fuck it. I don't care. Shoot at me.
No.
So how do you like it so far? You've been here, what, 4 or 5 months, 6 months?
6 months now. It's just crazy.
Does it feel like you're fitting in, or is it?
I love it, dude.
Because it's still California and San Francisco, but there is a different culture. I don't know how it compares to here.
Yeah, I'm finding where I fit in, and I'm finding how to survive. And it takes time, so it's been kind of a jolt for sure. But I love LA, and it's just like. It's just cool to be a part of like a scene where there's so many people that I respect and admire. And,
Present company excluded.
Sebastian is my boy. And shout out, Sebastian's behind the keys today. Is that the word? On the ones and twos. And no, but it's just exciting being here for sure. And so and it feels like the right move. I spent enough time in San Francisco too, where it was just like it was time to go for sure.
What's your least favorite part of it so far?
It's L.A.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm not gonna say like anything that has to do with cars or driving.
You're not gonna name names of comedians you hate.
No, I honestly love most of the comics I've met out here. I really do enjoy their company, and I like hanging out at shows. Everyone's very cool and nice. So, it can be, that's a good question. I don't really have a thing that I hate about LA necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, there are things I dislike about it, but I don't necessarily hate them. The traffic aside and all that, but that's fucking everywhere. I feel like people talk about traffic as if it doesn't exist in every other fucking city on this planet.
It's all. I mean, I've always spent a lot of time in the car, so that didn't really affect me. But I think San Francisco, the problem was everybody was in the tech industry, and here I'd say the problem
everyone's in show business.
Everyone's in show business, so that is like equally as like cringy to me, kind of.
I 100% agree with that, dude. I've said that about New York because I'm from New York, and I worked in finance when I was in New York, and I hated that New York was driven by finance. It was very fucking
like bank bros.
Yeah, it was a lot of that bullshit. I liked when I was living in Boston when I first started comedy. I was living in Boston, which is another. Sort of banking slash medical slash university town.
Yeah.
But I was doing comedy, so it was nice to work in an industry that wasn't the main economic driver of the city. When I was in New York, I was doing finance, and I didn't like that. And I'm in LA doing comedy, and that's not as fun to me as being in Boston, which show business doesn't matter, but I was in show business.
Right.
So I wasn't. It was nice to have spending time with people who aren't in the business that drives the city.
Yes,
they have
totally.
It's a better perspective.
Totally, I'd way rather be. Well, I like hanging out with comics a lot, but as far as having different types of friendships, I really am grateful for my friendships and relationships with people who aren't comics or in show business, because it's sure. Just a normal person.
Well, have you hung out with any actors yet?
Yeah, I know.
How strange can they be?
Actors are.
How awkward is that interaction?
They're just more fucked up, I think, than comics, even perhaps, or it's just there's less redeeming qualities. I think when you're
there's a lack of honesty
comics,
built into their profession that they just
comics are fucked up but funny, and actors
are just fucked up.
They're just fucked up. No, I love my actor friends. I live with an actor, and I love her to death. And she's also very funny.
There's always good people in bed, but I feel like I've run into actors and bullshit with them at a party or a thing or whatever, And it seems like they're acting like this, like they almost act like what they think a normal person would act like. They don't just act normal.
Right.
They're like, like how would a normal person act in this situation? I'm going to do that instead of just doing the normal thing.
Yes.
It seems a little put on.
That's acting, baby.
I know.
Yeah. Do you act?
Last time I acted was in fucking school, man. I haven't done any of it.
You were in theater?
Oh, I mean, fucking high school or even middle school. But I haven't. It's weird. I moved out here. And I had no intention, there was no drive for me to get into acting. I mean, I would do it, but it wasn't like, I don't want to be Kevin Hart, I'm not trying to go that route. I like doing the stand-up and then the podcasting and this shit.
Yeah.
And of course, I would take any sort of side work like that because it pays well and it might be fun, but I wasn't like, I'm going to go to LA and go to acting class and get into acting. I was like, maybe, if I might dabble in it, and if I like it, I'll do more of it, but it wasn't like, the reason I moved out here.
What if you got cast in a role as a finance guy?
Oh, I mean, I would take any fucking role they give me because I need money.
That would be some beautiful full circle moment for you. If you were like a funny finance guy in a huge movie and that was your career.
That'd be fucking great. I'd take it in a heartbeat. Yeah. Someone was telling me that before I moved out here, a comic who was living out here before I moved out, they're like, when they cast, they're casting for a type. It's not like... Right. Obviously, if you're Daniel Day-Lewis and you're the fucking lead, you can become the dude in My Left Foot or Lincoln or whatever. But if they look at you and you look like a cop, you're gonna be playing the fucking cop. Yeah. And you're gonna audition for all the cop roles.
Dude, you'd make
or if you look like a bouncer or whatever the look is. So they make it real easy for you when you're starting out because they don't book you for any role that you can't already do.
Can you say license and registration for me?
Get on the fucking ground. I can say
yeah, you would be that kind of cop.
I had a comic in. A New York comic who was performing in Boston, and I was featuring for him right before I left. I was just telling him, I heard you're moving to LA. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you'll do all right out there. You have good villain face.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? What's villain face? Like, yeah, you play the villain. You look like a villain.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or a fucking insult.
Yeah.
You don't have leading man face, but you definitely have fucking villain face.
Yeah. It's funny because you do have villain face, but then you get to know Randy a little bit, and you're not quite the villain.
No. Like I said, my voice makes me sound like a worse person than I am.
You also, and I know this from watching this podcast and here today too, you have great legs.
Oh, thank you.
Did you know that?
Well, I wear I wear the shorts because it's hot this time of year.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Times. It's great.
I actually have a whole bit about my calves. Where I talk about my calves.
Can we get a flex on cam?
You want to flex with the calves on stage?
Oh, look at that,
There
dude.
you go.
That's great.
There they are.
I think that's better than mine. I've always been known for my calves as well. A little bit.
His calves and his huge cock.
That. Yes.
I used to ride my bike all over Boston from gig to gig because I didn't have a car.
Oh yeah.
That's how the legs got there.
What's comedy in Boston like?
It's fun, man. I mean, it's a small town. It's 1 million people. I call it a whiter, cleaner New York.
Okay.
I mean, it's a diverse place, but there's definitely more white people.
Right.
It's cleaner because they have alleys. New York doesn't have any alleys, so all the trash has to go out on the streets.
Oh, interesting.
And it's a little more manageable because it's 1 million people as opposed to 20 million.
It has an alley for every street, basically.
Yeah, so the trash pickups you could pick up in the alley.
Why doesn't New York have that?
It's a bad city because the city was founded in 1621, whatever the fuck it was, and it's just too crowded to bother.
Built.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the reason why it's like that out there. But Boston was great. I mean, and it was also a lot of stage time because that's a huge comedy history.
Yeah, totally.
So there's I was doing 2 to 3 open mics a night from the day one. Which is plenty because I hear about people in Kansas City or Atlanta. They're like, oh yeah, I got to 3 shows this week. It's like, geez, I was doing 3 a day.
Yeah, exactly. So and are there lots of legends Boston legends?
Oh yeah, and they stick around. Really? Boston's like one of the few towns where they never fucking left. I mean, Lenny Clark's and Steve Sweeney's, and then there's guys out there who are killers now. Who get booked, all over, but they're just, I'm not leaving. Like my buddies Corey Rodriguez or Dan
And are they
Bolger.
making a living?
Yeah.
Can I shout out one of them?
Sure.
Tell me a name.
Corey Rodriguez.
Corey Rodriguez.
You want to shout out someone you don't know?
You're crushing in Boston, dude.
He's the best.
Hell yeah. Do you think do you ever wish they would come out here and be out here?
Oh yeah, some of them. Some of them have. Handren Seavey, I know you know him.
He's from Boston.
Guy. Yeah. Well, he's from Maine, but he's
Handren. Shout out.
Yep. I remember he was one of the first guys that was good to me after
really
after an open mic, and I think it was because I was getting everyone high. That was the thing about me. So when I first got into it, I used to work in finance, and I'd stop, so I had a severance package. So I was able to live off the fucking the teat that my former employer gave me. And the first thing I did was get my medical card because you get like 30% off marijuana in the state. And I would show up to the shows with a ton of weed.
That's smart.
And anyone who wanted to smoke, it's like, we'll go out and smoke. Yeah, we'll go out and smoke. Because that would ingratiate me to the comics.
Of course.
So that's how I met Handren. He was nice. I assume he's a nice guy, and so he's generally nice. But I assume it made it real easy once I started smoking him down.
I've just been sucking all their dicks.
It's easier that way.
Yeah,
it's cheaper. I don't have to buy any weed.
Yeah,
just smoke their pole.
And they can come faster than they can get to a punchline. I'll tell you that.
I actually pissed off a comic in Boston when I started doing that when I first started, because he sold weed to all the comics. And all of a sudden, people like just stop buying less and less. Yeah, can I grab a joint? Yeah, here's a joint. Here's a joint.
Nice.
And finally, like I was probably 5-6 weeks in, and I was doing a show he was on. He's like, "Oh, you're Randy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So you're the guy giving out all the fucking weed?" He's like, "Yeah." A bunch of people stopped buying weed from me because you just handed it out.
Hilarious.
Like, "Oh, sorry, man. They asked and I had extra." I was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it."
You gave me some weed.
There you go. My car weed.
I haven't bought weed in a really long time. It's kind of getting to I just have too many stoners in my life.
Yeah. Well, it's also in comedy. You get fucking free weed all the time, man.
Yes, absolutely. And then everyone like, there's a lot of people like you, generous with their weed. And then I have friends who just are like in that weed industry or kind of like adjacent. And a friend of mine had like a pound of weed at home that was just like basically old and just bad and like rotting, and I would just like take some every time we'd hang out. Then just recently I looked at that weed.
It's growing mushrooms on it.
It's so gross, dude. It's like,
it's fucking black with mildew.
I'll never get rid of it because it's like an emergency.
It's weed. I mean,
but
it still gets you high.
I don't know if it's safe to smoke though.
You're giving yourself a disease.
Yeah, I'm a big weed guy, dude. It's kind of my thing.
Nice. You gotta have something. I was gonna say because
I
know you drink a little bit, but it's not a big thing of yours. You're the weed guy.
Yeah, I like to drink. It affects me a little bit more. I can smoke weed and
still perform.
I can definitely drink and still perform, but I can't drink at fucking 3 p.m. and perform at 8 p.m.
for the rest of the day.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll be tired. And weird,
yeah. Well, that's why I said it about weed. Like I either haven't smoked for hours before I go on stage, or I like to be freshly high.
Yeah.
If I get stoned like 90 minutes before I go up, I don't like that groggy feeling. I got to smoke again right before I go up to refresh it, because I don't like that sort of slow. I want a nap feeling.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is I've been drinking around 4, and then by the time I get to the show, I show up a little early, and then I suck everyone's dicks, and it kind of wakes me up.
You give yourself a little bit of work.
Dude, that would be a great set, actually, if you sucked everyone's dicks and ate all the pussies available in the audience to you, and then they would really already kind of develop feelings for you, and by the time you go on stage, you'd crush.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to suck their dick as your set. So, like, one by one, they come up, and you just blow everyone in the audience.
It'd be a long
and you
set.
have to be, exactly. Well, unless you're really good, dude.
Yes.
Unless you're really good, then you could do it in a feature length. You don't have to do the headliner, the headliner set.
So the headliner's taking.
Yeah. So the better you get, the less time you do.
Hilarious. I see. Because interesting. Yeah.
You make them come easier.
Yes.
I actually like joking about like doing weed jokes on the road, because that's how you get free weed in states.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, I fly with. I've admitted to that crime on this podcast before. I fly with weed from time to time, but I got a lot more.
What's up with that? How do you do it?
I just put it in my carry-on and walk in.
You put it in your and it's not disguised as anything?
No. I've only once, actually flying back from San Francisco, I had probably a half an ounce and a bunch of vape cartridges, because I was bringing it. I was loading up on shit for flying back to Boston. I mean, I had my medical card in Boston, but they didn't have the cartridges I liked or this strain of weed, so I got a couple things. Like, I'll bring them back. The only time the TSA ever searched my bag and found it was then.
The weed? Or the cartridges?
They found the weed and the cartridges. They were all there was all my dop. Yeah, there was all in a bag in my dop kit. I didn't hide it. I just put it in there. And it was probably a black guy, probably 30 years old. He looked at it and just goes,
really?
All right, and just let me go through.
Where
and I
was
just shrugged. San Francisco Airport.
Wow. Yeah. Where were you flying?
Back to Boston.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just shrugged and let me have it. But most times they never catch it.
Why did he find it?
I just got randomly selected to pull out, and I didn't hide it. It was just in a bag, labeled from the fucking dispensary that it was from, and he just opened it and saw it was in there and just closed it up and gave it back. So he was cool about it. But I think in states where it's legal, you're allowed to have it at the airport. You just can't fly with it. So I think if he wanted to, he could have confiscated it or threw it out. So I don't think I would have been in trouble.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but in the state where it's illegal, then I would have then it would have been a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, when you're flying domestic, the dogs are looking for bombs. I'm not looking for drugs. So. For the most part.
You'd think they'd also be trained for...
Yeah, you think you could dual purpose a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he could smell like 4 different types of drugs, why can't he smell 4 types of drugs and bombs?
How would you... Say you had cocaine that you needed to transport.
Oh, God.
What would
I wouldn't fly with that.
But
drive.
if you had to, somebody was like, no, if they were like, you have to fly.
Depending on the amount, up your ass.
Up your ass?
Although the backscatter machine can probably see that if you have something wedged in your ass.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you
can't you
hide it in something if you have like some food item, put it in a jar of peanut butter, something.
But can't you say I don't want to do this thing?
Yeah. But I feel like that fucking raises a red flag.
It's a major red flag.
I'm already sweating because I have a kilo of cocaine in my ass. I'm like, I don't want to go through that. It's like, all right, get the dogs over here. Let's make them bend over and cough and find out what's up his butt.
Yeah, I think butt is definitely the way to go.
I accidentally flew around the country with a bag of mushrooms in my bag for a while without knowing it.
Interesting.
Because I keep repacking the same bag.
Yeah.
And I'd gone like a camping trip and I just had it.
That's the problem with just having one universal bag.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
dude, I remember
catches up to you at the airport.
We were in college. We went to St. Martin for a spring break, and one of my buddies, down there's no laws. So
where's St. Martin?
St. Martin is in the Caribbean. It's its own little island nation in the Caribbean.
Lawless nation.
Yeah, exactly. And he got up into a bag of the cocaine over the trip. We were there for like a week, and we're at the airport. He's standing behind me. I'm waiting to go through. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh shit!" And he just stops and starts tearing apart his bag in the security line, going through his pockets. Like, would you forget something? Forget something? He's like, no. I just want to make sure I didn't check all of my pockets to see if I accidentally left a bag of cocaine in there because going through U.S. Customs is going to be a real problem. I was laughing so hard at him sweating.
Did he find it?
He did. Thank God he had thrown it all out. He had thrown it all out. But
sketchy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Could you imagine getting busted for a bag of cocaine you forgot about?
It'd be horrible, man. I mean, I worry about, I didn't know everyone was flying with weed, but I've definitely, shown up to the airport and had weed on me and thrown it away,
Oh, they have disposal boxes in Illinois. And I don't know what
they amnesty.
Yeah, but I don't know what they do with the box, with all the shit in it. Where does that go?
It's just the stoner who sets it up himself. Yeah. It's not authorized or anything.
That's his business. Yeah, I just set up amnesty boxes and take your weed for free.
That's genius.
I know. I thought maybe the TSA people just go through it after the shift's over and what do I want?
Yeah.
Like lost and found.
There's got to be a little bit of that for sure.
Oh yeah.
There has to be.
It's all evidence.
I mean, cops, definitely.
Oh, my God. I mean, I've said before, if I was a cop, I'd be stealing from the evidence locker on the reg.
Well,
and I would definitely take bribes.
Yes,
100%.
They absolutely are doing it. I think there was some video of some cops smoking on a vape pen, and they just look like the biggest nerds ever, trying to figure it out. But I love that scene in Reno 911 where they confiscate a bunch of weed, and then they have a campfire and just sit around while they
light it on fire.
Very funny.
Dude, actually, I was in Huntsville, Alabama once with Jeff Dye opening for him at Stand Up.
Shout
out Jeff Dye. We're just gonna name every comic in town. But the manager of that club was a British guy, and he was a big pothead. And Jeff had told him, he's like, "Oh, my opener's a big stoner. Go get high with him." So we walk in the green room. There's an entrance to the green room from the club, and then there's a back entrance. You go out to the back to the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So we go out to the parking lot. We're smoking a blunt. Guy hands me the blunt. And then a cop walks up, and I'm like, "Oh shit, man! Sorry, I have a license for this."
What state is
this?
Big
black Alabama.
Oh shit!
Big tall black cop, flak jacket, fucking
Horrible.
looks serious, yeah. And he's like, "I'm like, sorry, man, I got a license for this. It's from Massachusetts, but I don't know if that matters." And we both just paused for a second, and then the manager started laughing. He's like, "No, that guy used to work here. He used to be our door guy. Now he became a cop after."
Oh wow!
He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." I'm like, "All right, man." So I go back to hitting the blunt, and he goes, "Well, put it out while I'm standing here." If another cop rolls by, I can't just be smoking weed with you. Put it out. I'm like, all right, sorry.
That's funny.
You scared the shit out of me, the GM, though.
Yeah, you forget that all these cops are fucking people and just they're also pieces of shit. So it's.
Oh, I have some cop friends who I've gotten high. I have a cop friend. He's an ex-cop now, but he used to sell weed. He was a cop for 5 years, quit that. He's a comedian now, I won't name names. He sold weed for a little bit. And then he moved on to other stuff, but they're people too.
Yeah, they're just upholding a system that is unrealistic.
Do you think you could be a cop?
No.
I was going to say, 'cause it doesn't seem like you ever had a real job of any kind.
No, yeah. I haven't. You don't go, I don't think they accept Cold Stone Creamery and stand-up comedian on the resumes of
those aren't what they're looking for.
Yes.
I know CPR and how to make a frapple.
Yeah,
fripple,
exactly.
Those things are.
But I don't think I'm very anti-cop.
Over across the board.
I typically, especially in LA, you get the feeling that these are real scum of the earth, LAPD people. I
don't know. I feel like I kind of treat cops the way I treat everybody else. It's like, I assume you're a pain in my ass until proven otherwise. But most of them are fine. Most of them are fine. Those.
Yes, I agree that it is not necessarily the individuals. I think it's the system. But in general, yeah. I also have a real problem with authority.
That is something I feel like 99% of comics have an issue with.
A real problem with authority. And it comes out in different ways. Like right now, it's my insurance. That's
I'm not paying it.
I mean, there's not there. They've made it so I'm pretty powerless. I can't like switch to another insurance. Yeah. It's all the same bullshit. So it feels like an authority in that, like, I can't really.
You don't have a choice.
I can't win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing with authority is, I never had a problem with doing someone if someone gave me a good reason why. But authority figures, especially when I was a kid, 'cause I'm 11 years older than you. My parents, my teachers tell me to do something. Why? Because I said so. That's not a reason. Like, give me a valid reason why I should be doing this, and then I'll do it. But if you just give me because I said so, who the fuck makes that the right decision? Yeah. It might be the dumbest thing I could do is listening to you.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart kid, and not to say that kids who follow instructions aren't smart, but I
just said, just give me a reason, give me a valid fucking point.
Yeah, I think it pays to be the other type of person that's just like.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Well, that's what school and college really, prepares you for, is to fucking take orders.
Totally.
To do as you're told. I mean,
totally.
I'll tell you right now. I went to an Ivy League school. I can tell you right now, the education I got is no better or worse than any other college out there if you applied yourself.
Right.
Right. But getting into those schools gets you into certain jobs because by doing what you need to do to get into that kind of school, it shows employers that you can take a fucking order and follow through on a long list of fucking things to impress them. You just jump through the hoops. Like, this asshole jumps through the hoops to get into that school. He'll jump through the hoops that we put him through at this firm.
What is your degree in?
Economics, business economics.
Whoa.
Yeah, I used to be a real professional. Dude, I had money, I had a fucking apartment, I had everything. I fucking threw it all away for the glory of this.
To do comedy.
This ridiculous business.
That's crazy.
Some would say stupid. I'm more in the latter camp, but yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're all, to pursue this, you are stupid in a way, but that's great. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you,
I support you, dude.
I'm going to tell my mom that. That'll go along.
Shout out Randy Valerio's mom.
No, she's great. She's actually supportive of this.
That's great. When you quit, were they bummed?
No, they were happy. They were. My mom and my family. They knew how much that old job was taken out of me and how much I disliked it and how unhappy I was.
Yeah.
So mom was like, I just want you to be happy. I was like, fuck the money. Just
Right.
I didn't work this hard for you to fucking be miserable. Everything she gave in her life was for her kids to find some joy.
Yeah.
To see me miserable was, bothering her. So
but you don't seem miserable.
I'm a lot better now. My problems now are different. I had existential problems when I was a banker. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
What is my life? Now I still have existential problems, but they're not. My bigger problem is, all right, how do I keep bringing in enough money to finance this career?
Right.
You have to make some money somewhere else before you can make this work full time for you. And that's my problem now. Finding money is the problem, not finding happiness. Doing this lifestyle makes me happy.
Yeah.
And now I just got to finance it. Whereas before, I had all the money in the world and I hated my life, which is really, then you spend money out of spite, or just. You don't appreciate it. Dude, I would get bonus checks, 6-figure bonus checks, and I'd be fucking furious.
Right.
But they fucking underpaid me.
Yeah.
What? I never thought I'd make that much in my entire life, let alone in one paycheck.
Of course.
But there is that sense of like, fuck this, it's not worth it.
And you get money, and your perspective on money changes too.
Oh yeah, well, it's the value. They always say, but time, man. Money buys you time, and time is what I wanted.
Right.
But doing that job, I had no time. Yeah. I had all the money, no time. Dude, I was working 16 hours a day. I didn't get a day off for 700 straight days once.
That's insane.
Yeah. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, just fucking
Yeah.
Not a single day off.
I will say being unemployed is pretty depressing too.
Oh yeah, the only thing worse than not having a job is looking for one, or having a job is looking for one.
Well, I was thinking about this today. I was kind of writing about it, where it's like, if you have a job, you're typically unhappy, but then if you're unemployed, you're depressed. And I think the difference there is like healthcare. You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you like, and healthcare just being like the stability of it all.
Yeah.
Like, being unemployed is very.
Because you don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I got to make rent. I got to do this. I got to do that.
It kind of feels.
What
like
what if I crash my car? Like, and then I'm fucked.
Yeah, dude. Like, you have to. I think there's a book or something about how being poor is expensive.
I talk about it. I've talked about that just in terms of. Just like in a microcosm, thinking about the way the lottery system works, like the state lottery, the Mega Millions, all that shit. No, rich people don't play the lottery because they're already rich.
Yeah,
it's poor people who play the lottery, but they're the ones who have the least disposable income.
Of course,
it's essentially a backdoor poor tax. Just like when you go to an ATM, right? If you can take out the max every time, the percentage fee you're paying on how much you take out is a lot lower than if you only draw $40, but they're still taking $4. You know, so there are hidden poor taxes all over the place.
Of course,
late fees. Right? People who are late on payments are people who can't afford to make the payment on time. Rich people don't pay late fees because they fucking just pay it off.
Is that different from a regressive tax, or is that the same thing?
Well, there is no such thing as a regressive. I mean, I guess there have been regressive taxes in the past,
well,
but I think of those as kind of hidden taxation.
Yes,
like
and they say in the Bay Area, because the public transportation there is fucked, and when you travel far, it costs a lot of money, but
you're riding it longer.
Kind of go by stop. So, and if you are like from like a poor, suburb, like way down the line,
way out, so you're paying more to get to.
You have to go to San Francisco for work or whatever. Like that's
that's similar. Yeah, that's a regressive tax. Yeah, I guess
and those people can't afford to live in San Francisco.
Yeah, that would be a regressive tax. That's a publicly financed. But the ATM machine, that's not a tax because it goes to a corporation.
Right.
The lottery, I would consider a regressive tax because mostly poor people pay it, and the government runs it now.
Yeah.
But dude, speaking of tax, I've always thought just the idea of income tax always baffled me. It's like, so wait, you want to tax a productive member of society? That seems stupid. Like, there should be no income tax. It should be all sales taxes.
Yeah.
So if you want like a big fucking house, and let's say it costs $10 million regularly, you should have to pay $20 million for it because it's wasteful. I mean, you're taking up a huge plot of land.
Totally.
Right? It should be based on use, but of course, the entire
finance. Yeah. Dude, finance Randy would never have said that.
Oh, no, I said it then. They just thought I was fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I said a lot of crazy things in my old job. That was part of the reason I got out of it, too. They were like, you can't walk around saying shit like that. What are you talking about? Like,
right.
I remember one time in a business meeting, I talked about how a management team was trying to fist us. And they were like, come again? Like my boss.
You do like to use that.
Well, it's a funny term. It's a funny idea, fisting.
It is.
But, I mean, this is 2007, well before I was a comedian, well before fisting was popular on fucking YouPorn.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, this is 2007 before feet were a big thing. This is how far back this is going.
I think arguably still a better time to make fisting comments at work, though. 2007?
Yeah, I was on the vanguard of it.
Yeah. I think now that's a lawsuit.
Oh, my God. Dude, I'm so glad I got out of it. Both college and the corporate world when I did, because I'd be fired. I mean, no question.
We're working on canceling you from comedy, but
good luck. I mean, it's gonna happen. This podcast, I've said enough dumb shit. Actually, I can't wait for the day how they made like a compilation of all the stupid things Joe Rogan has said in his podcast.
Right.
I can't wait for the
day compilation.
Yeah, the Ready Set, because I mean, it's going to be an hour and a half. It's not going to be a 10-minute video.
It's just one episode.
Just picking up any episode. That's it.
Yeah, that's.
But
funny.
I feel like I'm going with the Donald Trump method here, where if you just say enough crazy shit, it's like, well, he's always saying crazy shit,
right?
And they just kind of dismiss it. He's crazy,
right.
Like Kanye. I mean, they fucking canceled him this week, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think he said he was going DEFCON 3 on Jews.
Yeah, he went
First of all, it's
anti-Jew.
DEFCON, you fucking moron. But
yeah, he pulled the anti-Semitic card.
How does that make you feel as a devout Jew?
Well, it's funny because it's not like it's like what you said. He's always saying crazy shit. So to me, it's not like, oh, well, now I don't like Kanye.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now he's really stepped over the line.
Yeah, he lost me when he was saying like stuff about slavery and stuff, So it wasn't like a new revelation or anything.
But you know what's bad when his bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, said that they no longer want to have a relationship, but they told them to withdraw.
Oh, because of the Judaism stuff.
Yeah, so you fucked up when a bank won't take. Banks famously take money from the Nazis, dude.
Wow.
They're not going to take money from Kanye West.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a bad year for Kanye, and
I don't know. He's getting his money up.
You know, when the public opinion of Jeffrey Dahmer is better than you.
Yeah, he's certainly more popular right now.
Yeah,
that Dahmer series has got eyeballs.
Yeah, people like Dahmer now. I think he's got a personality now. He's handsome. I guess he was always handsome.
This was always quasi. See, that's the thing about serial killers, man. I hate that shit because women always are like, "Oh, Ted Bundy was hot." I'm like, for a serial killer.
Yeah,
it's not like in the serial killer universe.
Right.
You know, he's good looking, but like you wouldn't date Ted Bundy over Ryan Gosling.
Yes. I think also they like once they go to jail or once they get caught, their attractiveness goes way up.
Oh yeah, the bad boy image. I mean, who's better than a guy who kills 34 women?
But not only that, you're safe from them. You know what I mean? You can just fetishize. You don't need to worry about.
Well, I also heard there's like an evolutionary aspect to it too. That there's a reason why women like to get close to dangerous, violent men is because if they're close to them, they're less likely to become a victim of theirs.
Interesting, because they're on the team.
Yeah, so they're in the hot tub with them. You know, they're not on the outside. You know, getting victimized. So.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't work out for Chris D'Elia's fans, but. Sorry.
It's all right. He's going to Chuck E. Cheese with him. Would you date a female serial killer? There hasn't been many, but would you? Is that something that would get you going? Like, ooh, she's a bad bitch. She stabs dudes.
I just read a book about a female it's fiction. It's called A Certain Hunger. It's very good, but she's a female serial killer. A certain hunger,
like cannibalism?
I think she does eat them, yeah.
Okay.
I think she does eat them. Yeah, she does. But very terrifying. Here's the thing, is I generally get the feeling that, like, I feel like I'm always being outsmarted by women. So
that's every guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing checkers, they're playing 3D chess, dude.
Yeah.
There's just no two ways about it.
So I'm scared already.
You should rightly be scared of women. It's the right move to have. You should approach them like a house cat that you don't know what they're gonna do. You know, because they might want to be petted. The claws might come out. You might get bit in the face.
Yeah,
it can go any number of ways.
I would be, to answer your question, I would be very scared of a murderous woman.
No question, dude.
Yeah, I like a very well, I'm not a very tough guy, so there's some women out there who I feel like could kick my ass.
Oh, there's armies of women.
I famously got beat up by a woman in middle school. So
famously, what are we talking? Let's hear the story.
It was famous at my middle school.
Okay, what was the scenario? Set it up for me.
It was a woman who, well, she was a girl at the time. She's since grown.
Now she might be a man. You don't know. Have you followed up with her?
Very, very true. But she, we just had beef, man. Like we just had beef in middle school. And
would she like take your fruit roll-ups or some shit?
I don't really remember how it started, but we were just talking mad shit, and that's kind of what I do. And
I love it. I'm not a tough guy, but I talk a lot of shit.
I do.
It's a deadly combination for you, my friend.
I think I've learned my lesson, but she one time shoulder checked me, and she was also bigger. I was a late bloomer, but also in middle school, it's a very interesting time where the girls are kind of becoming women, and a lot of boys, for the most part, are still very much boys.
Yeah.
And she shoulder checked me, and I ran up behind her, and I like shoulder checked her, and then I had long hair, and she grabbed my hair and like twirled me around and threw me against the wall, and I hit my wrist on an open locker, and it gouged my wrist.
Oh my God!
So was
pouring blood and shit.
I was pouring blood in the hallway.
So she didn't even get a punch off, and you're already bleeding.
No, she threw me by my hair, which is like, classic woman
chick move,
classic chick move, and I got beat by
a hair
her game. So.
Well, it's good you probably didn't hit her back, because I wonder what the rules are on that.
Interesting. I think if you're actively bleeding.
No, but I'm saying in prepubescence, can a boy hit a girl?
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, like at what age can you not smack a girl back?
That'd be great.
Because if two 5-year-old kids, they smack each other, I don't think you call it domestic violence.
Yes.
It's little kids fighting. But if a 16-year-old kid hauls off and smacks a 16-year-old girl, that is inappropriate. Right?
Yeah.
So where does that age gap?
I think if he can't, I think if his balls have not dropped,
if you have no nut hair, you can punch a girl in the face.
Yeah, like,
and not shaved. It has to be actually no pubic hair yet.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was like high school for me, so I could have been fighting women left and right. I think that is fair.
You could have beat women up to you at 22.
Yeah, I think if you haven't gone through puberty, you can fight
hit a
woman. Yeah, I honestly do believe that. I think that's okay.
That's fair.
I think that's okay.
Those are the rules.
It's a good fight.
Yeah.
That should be because you know how in like boxing matches they'll have like featherweight, lightweight, and they'll lead up to the heavyweight. Before all of that, it should be middle school boy versus middle school girl. Yeah,
that's the opening card.
That would be great.
Just two 13-year-olds punching each other.
I would love that. And she fair and square kicked my ass. I mean, it was a fight.
Fighting with a woman is bad, but arguing with them I feel like is even worse because I feel like guys just. What would you say the success rate is on guys winning an argument against a woman?
Very
globally.
Low. Very low. That is their true secret weapon. It's not even a secret.
Yeah.
It's out there. I'm always impressed with a woman's ability to recount things that I've said a long time ago.
My God, dude. They're like a fucking stenographer in a courtroom. Yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah. And it pushes me to become like pull out receipts and stuff, and that's never a good look.
That's never a good look.
Remember
when I did this for you? Like, so now we're gonna bring. It's funny. They'll bring up some old shit, then you'll bring up some old shit, and they'll be like, oh, now we're gonna get into that. It's like, well, you started with the fucking. Pulling out the receipts.
I'll pull up texts or things. I was like, well, you said this word for word, and because I have the physical documents, it becomes not.
They don't like that. They don't like when you try to bring rationality into an argument. Right. That's where women win the argument. I feel like women will argue about how they feel, not actual facts. Yeah. And guys will try and beat that argument with facts. It's like you're making me feel unwanted.
Interesting.
It's like, but I did show up to your house and brought you thoughts, but I don't feel like you wanted to be there. It's like I can't argue with your feelings. I can argue with what I did and what I didn't do.
Yeah.
But I can't say how you feel, and that's where they win. They already beat you in that argument.
Right. I've definitely been hit with some facts before too, though.
That's when they really got you.
Yeah, I've made some mistakes in my time. Shout out my girlfriend. I'm sorry.
And shout out all the mistakes. He started them too.
But yeah, so they're good at arguing, man. I'm not, and I have a horrible, to go back to the remembering things that I've said, I don't even remember things that I've said.
I'm the worst at it,
I have a horrible memory.
I've had people quote me back to me, like, oh, remember when you said this? It was funny. I was like, I don't remember shit.
If your name was more complicated than Randy, I'd still be here like, I hope he says his name at some point. Like, it's bad.
Dude, I will be done with this podcast. We'll be done with it in 15, 20 minutes. They'll send it to me within 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't remember the fucking thing we talked. I have to go back and listen to it when I edit it. Like, because I write the little description when I post it.
That's
so
funny.
Like, that's what we said.
Yes.
And I'll have to look for the clips again. It's like, I just lived it. How the fuck did I not know what I just said?
Yeah, man, it's bad. And I don't think the weed is helping me in that department at all.
Certainly not.
But it runs in my family. Like, I will shock people with how bad my memory is. And I'm like, but like my dad is the same way,
Yeah, but you remember your bits pretty good?
Yeah, the bits I remember. I do look back on old videos and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that joke, but I think everybody has that.
I do that all the time. What I like to do is, no matter what, I'll always write down the set list, even if it's jokes I've told 1,000 times. Just so I'm like, all right, boom, like in my head.
That's very good advice.
I always use my phone to record to set the audio, and I know I have the note with this. If I need to, I can just tap the screen and see it, but I don't generally use it. But just the act of writing down, all right, this is the order in which I'm going to do the material.
Do you listen to your recordings?
Not regularly, unless I did something poorly that I want to fix, that I know, like you feel it afterward. So like I won't listen to the whole 15 minutes. I'll just like, I want to hear this bit and this bit and this bit.
Yeah.
And I added this bit. So I added this piece. I want to get that piece again right because I like the way I did it that time.
Yeah, I think that listening to your recordings is like the most important thing that nobody does. You know what I mean? Like I hate it. I mean, even last night, me and my buddy were going through old footage of us, and like I threw on a clip that is like one of the worst bombs that I have on tape, and I couldn't even be in the room, dude. It was so brutal.
That's actually tough. Listen to a fucking bombing.
Yeah, but if I crush a set like within the last couple weeks, then I'll listen to it a lot because like to remind myself, it's like, oh, I can do good. But then once a couple months goes by, like those jokes feel old to me, or just like that's.
Well, it's just so prolific. Every 2 months you got a new hour.
Well, yeah, no, I certainly don't. I'm not that prolific, but I think that like my style and my tone changes quicker than my material. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean that happens to everybody. I feel like, but it happened to me with a few jokes where, like, I remember like my first closer that I ever closed with that was good. Mm-hmm. I was solid for a year and change. And then somewhere around like 15 months. It just didn't hit the way it used to, even though I told it the same way.
Yeah, you
outgrew it. But I think my enthusiasm while telling it,
of course,
changed. And even though you can't hear the difference on the tape in a live audience, they can sense that I'm not as into it, and it kind of doesn't get the pop it used to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's weird how a new joke will do better just because you're excited about it. I think audiences are like dogs in that way. Like they can sense the fear or the excitement.
I compare them to hot chicks at a bar.
Interesting.
It's like, because why am I talking to you? Like, why am I listening to you?
Okay.
And a lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I mean, how many people have you seen kill with bad material, but they're just so likable and they're so congruent? You know?
Yeah, that is a lot of people in this city. Shout out LA.
Shout out LA, everyone in LA. All right, you want to get to a little news, bud? We're at the end
we
here.
do news. Yeah, let's do news.
I pick some, like I tell all my first time guests, I pick news stories from the paper of record, the New York Post. It's a quasi tabloid in New York.
That's kind of the weird, swanky one, right?
Yeah, it's the salacious one, and they always have.
Is that conservative?
It's owned by the Murdoch family.
And that's conservative?
They own Fox News.
Okay, cool.
So I guess it leans that way, but these are all the stories that I give a shit about.
All right. News.
I don't know if you heard about this, but pool boy recalls having sex with Jerry Falwell Jr.'s wife as he watched.
Jerry who?
Jerry Falwell.
Jerry
Falwell is like one of the big evangelical preachers who was the president of Liberty University, which is a huge conservative university down south.
So is the reason he came forward is kind of like call this guy like a creep weirdo? Yeah,
well, I think they were accusing him of extorting them for money, but I think it just leaked because he was writing a book. That's really what happened. This guy's writing a book.
Oh, the evangelical guy is?
No, the guy who fucked the evangelical guy's wife is writing a book, and that's how this all came out.
Yeah, it's like, I guess because that guy's a church man, and maybe he's like, I feel like that's not newsworthy, because this guy just gets off on watching dudes fuck his wife.
It wouldn't be newsworthy if he wasn't, a clergy member who's so up his own ass about the moral right, like that. If this came out about Donald Trump, it wouldn't be a fucking story. It would be a tweet and move on. But this guy's like a fucking he's like the son of Jerry Falwell, who like started evangelicalism in the country.
Oh, yes.
He's like a big Bible thumper. Yes. This is how you should live your life, moral high ground bullshit. Meanwhile, he's watching his wife get fucked by a 20-year-old pool boy.
Every church person is so hypocritical in that way, right?
Well, that's the thing about people. They're hypocrites.
Yeah.
and if you profess to have moral values, it makes you a bigger one. Because we all do fucked up things.
Christianity would be so much better if they were just like, you can have sex with whoever you want, and just kind of do it however you want.
Oh, yeah. But it's weird the Bible has a lot of weird shit in it like that, though. I mean, it says, rich people go to hell. Like, well, obviously not, because there's no hell. But but they also say stupid things like in the Bible, like you shouldn't wear two different types of fabrics at once. So you shouldn't wear like cotton and linen at the same time. That's illegal according to the Bible.
Yeah, but that's
you have to stone infidels and adulterers to death.
Right. No one quotes the fabric thing anymore, though.
Well, no,
it's like things just go out of style. When is sex?
Consumerism trumped it.
Of course.
Everything's about money in this country. Religion is a deep second. Actually, even religion. I mean, their big fucking thing is give 10% of your shit to the church.
And that's a pretty sweet deal for that pool boy, though.
Oh yeah. So listen to this. So he goes. He met them at a pool around a pool in Miami.
Okay.
They agreed to meet a couple days later at a Days Inn, which Jerry Falwell is a rich guy, so it's kind of seedy. But apparently, he says in the room, Jerry Falwell was allegedly drunk and was lying down on one of two queen-size beds.
It's a double bed room.
Yeah, so they had a double bed, and he said that he goes. Granda, who is the guy's name, Gianmarco Granda, was nervous and allegedly told Jerry that if he feels jealous at any point, he would stop. Jerry says, "Don't worry about it. You guys do what you want to do. There's only one rule: no sexual intercourse."
Oh, interesting.
So apparently they were just going down on each other back and forth.
Oh, wow.
And at one point, Jerry got a little too close for comfort, for the pool boy. So he asked him to back off, at which point Jerry did.
He was coming in close.
He was gay. I guess I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know who was getting their monkey wash at that point. But I'm guessing his wife was blowing the pool boy, and he's like, "Hey man, get away from my dick."
It's interesting. I mean, if you take the fact that it's out, he's like a church guy or whatever. This is just like good. This is just good cuck behavior. You know what I mean?
Jerry Falwell's a solid cuck.
Yeah, like that should go out to all the cucks. Is like, don't get too close.
Have you ever had any couple be like, "Hey man, you want to get in the middle of this"?
No.
Well, give it
no,
time. A
not
good-looking guy like you in
seriously.
LA, I'm sure it'll come through.
I wonder about that. It would be weird to be watched by a man.
Yeah, I don't like that. And also, like, I feel like it would be too in my head. Like, is this guy gonna have a fucking problem?
Yeah.
Like, if he snaps while I'm distracted, am I gonna get fucked up?
Right.
It's like, hey man, if you want to leave a camera and you guys can watch it while I'm gone, knock yourself out.
Yeah,
But I don't want you breathing heavy at the foot of the bed while I'm banging your wife.
Yeah, that would be kind of spooky. It's similarly like if there's even a cat or a dog in the room.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, get that fucking cat.
I'm okay with them in the room on the floor. I don't want them on the bed.
I think I would sooner be like somebody's like a sext. I would send pictures for someone to jerk off and send me money. I'd rather that.
Yeah.
That's farther away.
Yeah. You want some distance between you and the pervert.
Yes, exactly.
Which, by the way, I guess that term is no longer used, pervert.
Is it bad now?
No, well, I think, I was talking about this in the green room with Liz, of all people. I think they stopped using it because of the kink shaming thing.
Interesting.
So now, like, back when I was a kid, a pervert was someone who was, who's eyeballing kids. Now the pedophiles, which is like a full proper name. But a pervert now, what's a pervert? It's like, oh, he's just kinky, weird. Like, they'll kink shame, so you can't say pervert anymore.
Right.
But I want to bring back pervert.
We gotta maybe people of perversion. Can we do that?
That's exactly right.
People
dude.
of perversion.
They're not perverted. They're people of perversion.
Yeah, but what do you call somebody who like a Louis C.K. kind of person?
He's a pervert.
Yeah, he's a pervert.
Yeah.
I think
he's a person of perversion.
Yeah, he's a person. Totally.
This one's fucking wild, dude.
Is this New York Post?
Oh, these are all New York Post. It's the only paper I read.
They're exciting headlines.
With my Ivy League education. A woman duct taped and slashed a naked Tinder date, then ordered DoorDash before the cops showed up.
Wait.
Yeah.
Duct taped and slashed. So killed?
No, he lived. So listen. Lauren Marie Dooley, 22, was hit with multiple felony charges last week over the bizarre attack on her 21-year-old date inside his Colorado apartment. Dooley is accused of enticing her date, whom she'd only met on the dating app Tinder, to go to his house with her, remove her clothes. She was going to perform oral sex on him. She tied him up. She duct taped him up, at which point she lost it, started beating him around the head, got a knife, cut him on his left shoulder, and then allegedly choked him for a while, and then checking his pulse on his neck to make sure she didn't kill him. Wow. She then ordered food, got the food. While she was eating the food, he had escaped from the duct tape and ran out, called the cops. They eventually caught up with her and charged her with multiple felonies.
Wow.
See, so women are out there talking about how, whenever they're on a fucking Tinder date or they're on a date, they're always giving some guy his, here's the guy's picture, where I'm going. It's like, it goes two ways, man.
Yeah,
girls could fucking get you.
I think 10 men did that
women
that night.
No, of course. But of course that's true. But I'm saying, my point is, it's dangerous to go with a stranger to a strange place in any scenario.
I stopped inviting people over to my house from dating apps that I hadn't met before.
Yeah, you got to meet them in the fucking public first,
yeah.
man. You don't know who. Some banana land fucking crazy person.
Yeah, it's only happened a few times, and it's always been to my place. And then I went to a woman's place one time, met there, and even then I was
during the pandy.
I guess technically it was after the start of it, but I even just showing up, I was like, you probably shouldn't do this. I'm chill. I wouldn't want to make her uncomfortable. We had a nice time, but I'm just in the future, giving your address out just seems crazy. And then I did it, and I had one person come over, and I was like, yeah, never again. She was just not. I don't want this person in my house.
And in that situation, when you haven't met in public, it's completely your word against theirs. So this day and age, I feel like there's too much risk.
You're rolling a crazy dice.
Too much risk with that.
Totally.
All right, last one, and I don't know why these are. I don't always go on all sex on these, but these just came in this week. A Utah woman is forced to give her ex-husband their naked photo album in a divorce. A woman has been forced to hand over an edited version of their racy nude photos that she got for her ex-husband as part of one of their previous anniversary gifts for memory's sake. Apparently, the judge ruled that if the photos are edited to obscure her private parts, the entire album should be turned over to the husband, as he did pay for it.
Wow.
Now, obviously, this is Utah, so they censored them. But my question, this brings up a broader point. When you're in a relationship with somebody and it ends, do you keep the nudes or do you delete them?
It's interesting. I recently lost my phone and lost all my photos, but
Most of your own dick pics.
Yeah, I've got some dick pics for sure, but I had nudes from other people, and I kept them, but I wouldn't really look at them because I would get sad.
That's interesting and kind of heartwarming. Ryan.
Yeah.
Of you, like I wouldn't look at them not because I was trying to jerk off, because I missed them.
It's just like a spread pussy, and I'm crying.
Yeah, it's like, it always makes you think of the good times.
Oh God! But no, I think that like
I like that's what you have in your phone, by the way, just a bunch of photos of spread pussy.
I think ideally you have that conversation before you exchange those photos. But that's a weird conversation to have, and nobody has it.
It's a good point. Yeah, nobody does have it.
I don't think you have to delete those photos. I don't think you're allowed to share them with anybody.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's the first thing I was saying. Never, even if they sent you and you're still dating them, you never share nudes with your boys or your friends or anything, or even your girlfriends. And I know women do it a lot too. They shouldn't do it either, because I feel like it puts bad karma out there. Like, if you start sharing the nudes, that's when the nudes dry up. Like, you got to honor that trust.
Oh, interesting.
If you honor the privacy of that, you're more likely to get them. I feel like you want to put that good energy out there. That's number one. And number two, if in the breakup, I think you definitely get to keep the nudes. That's part of the severance package, baby.
Interesting.
You can't share them, but you get to keep them in your bank. Like, if I want to jerk off to my fucking girlfriend when I was 27, I got some pictures of her.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to do that because I can remember it. Yeah. But I want to remember it exactly as it was. And when she was 27, not 35 and fucked up like she is.
Well, maybe there should be yearly updated nudes. So that
you put them in like the cloud somewhere, like you manage them.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I agree that you should not share them. I thought it was gonna go towards like because that's disrespectful to women, not because then you will stop getting nudes. But I think.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of both, but mostly the former.
Totally, totally.
But also, like, you never know. Like, you might marry that woman, and then all of a sudden, like, all your boys saw your wife's pussy.
Oh,
like, you gotta fucking think twice here.
Yeah, it's a little bit grimy to spread those around.
Of course. And also, why would you want other guys to see the girl you're banging? Like, that's her job. Send them around to the guys she's seeing.
Yeah,
so it's not for me to distribute.
I think if someone asks if you can delete the nudes, then you should.
Yeah, I would agree if they ask, would you delete them?
Yeah.
But I mean, if I broke up with you, I already blocked you, so there's no chance.
A lot of people have my dick pics. I don't really think about it or care. They're holding on to them.
That's good that you don't care. But in this day and age, there's a lot of bots out there, and they've been doing a lot of blackmail. You've heard about this?
Yeah.
They get you to send a dick pic, or chicks have all the time chicks to send a nude, and it's like, hey, I'm going to send this to everyone on your Facebook account unless you give me $3,000.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit going on out there, which is fucked up. Which is why whenever girls ask me for a dick pic, I just send a complete stranger's dick to them.
That's very smart.
What are they going to know?
It's
always a black guy. It's like, wow, your dick is really dark compared to the rest of you.
Do you really do that? Send a random?
I have.
Nice.
Not all the time. I mean, girls that I've dated.
Do you find like kind of like a average dick so they don't get suspicious? Or is it a very nice dick?
I probably I'd say normal, but I also like sometimes I'll do it like I'll just find one that looks goofy. Like I'll make it obvious that it's not mine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Especially like if I really don't know them.
I guess you kind of have to, if you're going to do that and you might meet them, it has to be a dick that kind of looks like yours.
Yeah, well, that's why I send the goofy one if I know, again, if I have any sneaking suspicion that they're weird. But yeah, I mean, like, I tend not to send them just because I don't want my dick out there to someone I'm not actually banging. Like, if after we've slept together, then I'll send you as many dick pics as you want, you know? But like, if we haven't met up yet and I fire off a dick pic, that person can blackmail you. They don't even know you. I want to at least, make sure the person I'm sending it to is an in-the-flesh human before I send a dick pic.
It is nice when someone appreciates just a picture of your dick. It makes you feel special. I don't know if they're lying or what, but...
Yeah, well, I never send one unless I'm asked more than once.
Nice. That's a good policy.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, why would you send it unsolicited? No one wants an unsolicited dick pic. But guys do want unsolicited pussy and ass and titties. I mean, like, there's no question we'll take it. But
that's always a nice surprise.
Yeah, it's a nice surprise. But I want to be sure. Again, consent. You really want it. You better ask 2-3 times.
Double solicitation.
Yeah,
That's a great
there's
policy.
no way it's going. It's going on the
if
first
there's
date.
anything that I've learned today, that is a good policy.
My stupid dick
Not
pic
one,
policy.
but 2 solicitations.
Well, no
great.
means no.
Hell yeah.
At least not the first one. Sometimes not the first one. Anyway, what do you got coming up, bud? This is going to be coming out this week.
Okay.
Wednesday.
I'm in New York, 11/13 for New York Comedy Festival, November 13th.
Getting all the fucking gigs now. Big shot.
In San Diego, Mic Drop Comedy, November 20th.
Sweet.
Please, for the love of God, let's go to that show. Those are my 2 things.
All right.
Yes.
New York Comedy Club on the 13th of November.
And then Mic Drop on the 20th.
Mic Drop November 20th. Let's push that one.
Hell yeah.
Because that you in the Gold Room?
Gold Room, yeah. I'm doing
that room
one-nighter.
is fucking sweet if you get it
I really
going,
do. Yes, totally. You can get like 25 people.
Yeah,
It's a great
I'll
time.
repost it. Once you get the promo stuff, I'll repost it for you,
thanks,
too.
dude.
You got it,
Hell
man.
yeah.
And I'll
Right on.
cut up some clips and I'll
Sounds good.
collab you on them so
I love
try to
it.
get you some of my followers.
I love to
At least
see
I can
it.
do it for having this fucking
Hell yeah.
this weird following I have on Instagram.
Of course.
It's a lot of single moms
It's
and,
cool.
and people with mental problems.
I get it. Yeah. Hell
But I
yeah.
love them. I love my followers. But that's it for this one, guys. We appreciate you listening. That's Orion Levine. Follow him. What's your Instagram?
Orion.Levine.
Orion.Levine. Are you on TikTok too? You big on there?
I'm on there too. I think it's the same thing.
All right. So give him a
Cool.
follow. Follow the podcast at Ready, Set, Blow. Follow me at Randy Valerio. But that's it for this week, guys.
Can we
See you next
touch?
week. Peace.
We got to
Yeah,
touch
brother.
on departure.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Touch your fingertips like a bunch of fucking.
Big love. Thanks,
All right.
Randy.
Peace.